about to...
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. I am Diana Clarion, the Lavender Lady. This is Coffee with Lavender. Pour yourself a cup, pull up a chair, come on, join the fun, and have a heck of a good time. Today is a very, very interesting day here over at the Lavender Studio. And I've got I hear something. Yeah, I hear something going on in the background, and this is not good. We're trying to figure out how we're running things here because we're using an entirely new system which involves two computers and all sorts of happy stuff like that. You're not running something over there, are you, Tornado?
No.
No, okay.
Why?
I was hearing some feedback, but I think it's over. I hope it's over. Everybody over there in the side check. Okay, you say tiny echo. Well, let's hope we can get this going here. Yeah, that was my little thing here.
I can do something.
We had a little bit
Does
of.
this help the echo at all?
Yeah, it just might.
I turned down the volume on my microphone.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're still working with getting things to you from the Lavender Studio here after we had a little bit of getting stuffed by Google when they took Google Hangout on Air away. Right now, I'm running two computers and I'm trying to get my hands working on each one of them in concert. One of these little deals. But hopefully we're going to have that working and everything. And today, we have with us the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Tornadopelt. How the heck are you?
I'm good. I woke up from a crazy dream, and yeah, let's not go into detail about that because I don't want any more reasons to put search and destroy from Spybot on my computer.
You should have that on your computer anyway.
And then in the background, we also have Mom Nato. Hi, Mom Nato.
Hello.
All right, we have 2 for 1 today. Oh, it's all sorts of fun. For those who don't know, I got to know Tornadopelt through movie night with Strike. And when I came on board last year, Tornado was already there. You'd been there, what, about a year?
I think so, thereabouts.
It's been there about 2 years now, maybe.
Joined in October of 2017, right before we moved. Ugh.
Oh my, right before I moved, as a matter of fact. That's the interesting thing.
Years.
No, just 2.
No, 17 to 18, 18 to 19, 19 to 20. We're almost 3 years.
No, this year is
Okay.
2019.
God, you're so argumentative.
October 8th, 27th of 2018 to October 27th of 2019. It's not yet October 27th of 2019. So I've been here about 2.
Imagine it is, then we'd be out of stupid hurricane season.
And we have family math going on. I like it a whole lot. And one thing that, Tornado, what brought you to Size program? I mean, where'd you find that?
I found it whilst literally walking around randomly on the YouTube space, watching Reg Frederick kick, pardon my language, kick the shit out of Jism.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. So it turns out that Jeranism happens to be a catalyst to get a whole bunch of people meeting together.
It was a catalyst of multiple angry rants in my room, even here.
Oh, God, don't remind me about the early angry rants, please. I remember the number. We were living in a single-wide trailer at the time.
Oh, my.
So, in my bedroom, it's at the other end of the house.
And the walls didn't stop sound for shit.
Yes, I can remember the numerous nights of walking down the hall going, "People are sleeping, be quiet."
Oh, my word.
Oh, you missed it. The one time when RJ asked me, "Would you like to introduce Jeranism to the door?" referring to the door of the International Space Station, I made references to having his face meet the door repeatedly before shoving him out the airlock.
Oh my.
At the top of his lungs.
Oh my, oh my. And that's the other interesting thing. You are at least as much a science lover as I am, as quite a few other people I know. How the heck did that ever happen? Just out of curiosity.
He has an IQ of 129.
Okay, that's a good start.
And I lived in Tuck's Place. Well, I should say in general, Missouri, Tornado Alley for, 18 years of my life?
Yeah, because there's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, and I could easily be wrong, but I'm thinking that in that area of the country, the educational system isn't exactly stellar.
It depends on where you are.
Okay.
His graduating class was almost 6 times the size it was when I graduated from the same area. When I graduated, there were 44 people in our high school class, and only 41 of them graduated.
Oh my. Now that's really something I'm not accustomed to.
And his graduating class was almost 200 people.
I'm not sure.
So it took a big jump from when I was there.
There's,
And the quality of the education there was driven by his ability to get classes for them to keep up with him. That, for example, his senior year, they had to find classes to keep him in school because otherwise he would have been out of school halfway through the day.
Well, it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. I was missing credits, or at least I think I was missing credits. So they put me on a computer program, which should take multiple weeks to complete.
What'd you do? Go through it in 3 days?
16 weeks, isn't it?
I'm not sure. They just had separate classes with separate lessons and such. Like, you're supposed to do one, I think it was like one a week. I'm not sure. Maybe one a day. I blew through the entire course in less than a week.
I knew there was something I liked about you.
So they actually had to find classes for him to do once he got all his credits in to keep him in class because they couldn't just send him home halfway through the day because he was a bus rider.
Okay, yeah, times are a little different now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Back when I was in high school, you would go home halfway through the day.
No.
Because I graduated high school in 1974, so there's a little bit of a difference going on there.
Yeah, I graduated in '89, so yeah.
And there was also the thing about how in zoology there was this thing about, oh, if you don't complete it, it's homework. And then it's like, cha-ching, even before the bell rang.
He was turning in his homework.
Oh my.
His chemistry teacher was one of these people who was very particular about who got to handle chemicals and stuff in the classroom.
Okay.
And Talon was the only one, Tornadopelt was the only one allowed to handle any of the chemicals besides the teacher.
All right.
Yes,
So
I take safety with chemicals very seriously.
Oh yes, by all means.
Yes.
Lab accidents are not the thing you want.
One of the things we had to do during one of our experiments in the lab, we were making silver-plated ornaments, and one of those compounds can turn into a high explosive partway through if you don't keep mixing it, right?
What were you doing? Were you doing a displacement reaction over copper?
No, actually, I think we were just doing a silver plating experiment with what were glass ornaments.
Oh, okay. So electroplating.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
okay,
so.
okay.
You
I'm
have
not
to
sure.
keep stirring it to make sure it doesn't shatter. And
No, you have to keep stirring it to make sure it doesn't turn I think, into silver fulminate.
Oh boy, that would be a bunch of fun.
yeah,
It's like it was either silver fulminate or nitroglycerin. Either way, I've looked at
explosive.
either way, I looked at that thing. It's like, okay, I am going to keep stirring, and I'm going to do so diligently.
You would have been a much better TA in my organic chemistry lab when I was back at uni the second time around. This girl, her favorite phrase was, "Oh, just dump it in."
Oh
Uh,
Oh
God!
no! Oh no!
when we're
No!
yes, when we're talking about neutralizing bases with strong acids and things like that, it's like I nearly punched her out a couple of times.
Just
Oh.
I hope she made sure everybody was wearing safety glasses. Oh God!
No. If I was her second in command, I'd be like, wait, did you just say just dump it in? Okay, someone needs to know what can potentially happen if you just dump it in.
Well, I'm trying to remember if I did it or if I simply wanted to do it. A matter of taking the graduated cylinder in the beaker and shoving it in her face and say, "Okay, you dump it in."
Yeah, really. I'm
It's,
not a chemistry whiz, and even I know that stupid shit.
Oh my! Yeah, this was at the University of Pittsburgh, of all places.
Oh, I
uh,
hope she got fired.
I hope so too, because no,
did she really say, oh, just dump it in?
yes, multiple times.
Those are 5 words that I would never associate with any chemist from this planet, let alone Pittsburgh.
Um, yeah, it was. I had thought of making a complaint to the department, but I didn't know how much of a problem it would end up being for me.
Yeah.
So I just sort of dealt with it. Yeah, I was the one who could not work very well with the other kids in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I was 35 and they were 19. And
Yeah.
a few of my profs even said, "Oh man, I love you. You're not 19." And it's like, "Well, thank you." So there was that difference in attitude going on. And yeah, I just couldn't work with these kids. I had to work alone. And I think she didn't exactly like that. Now, the freshman chem TA did not mind that at all. He understood where I was coming from.
Yeah.
I would seriously look at the TA's assistant if I was in that class with you, and I would be like telling the entire class, okay, word of warning. Do not follow this dumb person's advice. She is more likely to get you killed than she is to teach you anything.
Yeah. Oh my
Because
word.
you want to neutralize a strong acid with a strong base and just dump it in.
Yeah, and this was in a graduated cylinder, by the way, not a beaker.
Oh!
So you
Aren't
were going
those
to have this
things-
wonderful fountain coming out. And it was, no, I don't want to do that, thank you. We had already had someone very nearly get his face burned off with an accident involving chloroacetic acid.
That just sounds like a whole nasty bunch of fun that I do not want to be around.
Yeah, that stuff is very, very, very much stronger than acetic acid is. It's amazing what one chlorine atom will do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was all sorts of fun. I did not get a very good grade in that particular semester, but it was like, okay, I'll deal with it. It's just going to be
I
over.
would be it's like if it was me handling chloroacetic acid, you would see me show up in a suit of armor first, and then draping my lab coat over that, and carefully handling that stuff with tongs.
That's basically
Because-
what we had to do.
Because I'm sorry, but chloroacetic acid, that's basically vinegar mixed with chlorine, with a single chlorine atom on there. And you'd be surprised, again, like you said, you'd be surprised at what a single chlorine atom would do.
Yeah, the
Now, if
chlorine
it
is
was
very, very
fluorous, now since chlorine and fluorine are basically in the same part of the periodic table, you'd be surprised at what a single fluorine atom could do in fluoroacetic acid.
I've never handled. I don't know if fluoroacetic acid can even be isolated. I'm gonna have to look that up someday.
I hope it can't.
Yeah, because the whole deal here is chlorine is extremely electronegative, so it makes the acid very much stronger by pulling the electrons away from the hydrogen at the other end and
Well,
allowing that
actually,
to
not so much.
dissociate.
Well, it's not so much that is a strong acid is how likely it is to protonate.
Right, right. And
So,
that
meaning
that
whether it's
chlorine
going
makes it
to
much more likely to
hyperprotonate.
deprotonate. Oh my. Yeah, I'm looking at things going on over here, and I'm going to have to make a few changes some other time. Um, because, yeah, we have only you over there on the screen, which isn't all that bad, but it's lost the. It's lost yours truly from the screen here, so I'm going to fool around with
Oof.
that. But not today. Okay, that's, we're not going to worry about that.
I see you just fine.
Folks over on the side there, this is what we're dealing with. We're fooling around with this and making things, trying things out, getting them to work, and we're gonna manage. We're actually gonna do this at some point. Now we were talking about this before we went live, and I think it's kind of interesting enough that I hope you don't mind my mentioning it. The group in Strike's panel, we're all atheists, except one person.
Not all of us.
And I wonder who that person could be, Tornado. How did you end up? How did the Christian end up in the den of lions? How that did that? And how did you end up staying?
Well, to be fair, it all started when I encountered this wonderful example of human head up their assery known as jism.
Oh my! For those who don't know, we're speaking of Jeranism, a very annoying flat earther.
Just listening to the level of wrongness that was coming out of his mouth, not just the level of wrongness, but also how smug he was in saying it was what the worst part about it was when I was watching part 3 of Jeranism Flat Wrong by Red's Rhetoric, where Jeranism was saying, I know it's going to be tough for you, just cuddle up with the globe, have a few tissues, tell it what it's like, and then in the morning you'll be able to wake up knowing the world flat as it is. It's like he's so condescending and smug, and he's such an asshole.
Okay. He thinks he's smart. He's an oxymoron.
No,
Okay, yeah.
no, other. He's an oxygen thieving moron.
Well, my understanding is that Jaren doesn't even believe his own spew.
Exactly. He's a troll.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it even worse. The fact that he's
He's an ugly troll at that.
he's sowing discord. He's actively trying to hoodwink credulous people for money and actively sow distrust in the scientific community over very much established facts. And for what? Shits and giggles. And that's what makes it hard for me to just stand by and let him get away with this. Because he's actively harming some people. He likes to think, oh, I'm just promoting the truth, but he knows he's spouting bullshit, and that's what makes me even more pissed off at him.
Mm-hmm. And, well, the thing is that I was rather surprised, and I'll say pleasantly surprised, when things came up in conversation. We may have been replying to Ken Ham at some point, where your attitude toward me, you are very much a Christian, no problem at all. I'm trans and I'm lesbian at the same time. And
More power
still,
to
you like me for some stupid reason.
Like I said, you got to keep in mind, and this is as a devout Christian, that I've taught Tornado that the Bible is man's interpretation of what God says.
Oh,
You can't take it as a actual fact. They are guidelines. And the one thing that it says that that goes over all other things is love thy neighbor. Nobody in there said your neighbor couldn't be transgender, your neighbor couldn't be lesbian, your neighbor couldn't be gay. It just says love your neighbor.
I more specifically think of it as
Okay?
judge not lest ye be judged.
That's another one. The Ten Commandments. We are not God. We do not have the right to judge anybody.
I knew there was a reason I liked you too.
And frankly, I grew up, one of my mom's best friends was gay.
Okay.
One of my best friends was a lesbian.
Okay,
I
fine.
don't care who you love. I don't care what your sex is. I don't care if you love the same gender or not. You're entitled to your feelings. And nobody anywhere has the right to tell you that your desires are wrong.
Now, if I have this correctly, you've spent most of your time in the Bible Belt, right?
Yes.
How much trouble do you get into for having that attitude?
We don't, because that's not something we learned a long time ago, to keep our opinions to ourselves.
Okay.
And most of the time that we were going to a church, they did not talk about lesbians and gays and transgender.
Oh.
Because it was very much a controversial thing, and they had enough controversy going on in the church that they didn't want to bring in more.
Okay.
So,
Although, strangely enough, some of my greatest memories are from church.
yeah. But I taught Talon that, well, Tornadopelt is most of you know, that you can be accepting of other people and still have your beliefs. And they don't have to clash. As long as you follow the Ten Commandments, and there's nothing in the Ten Commandments that says hate gays, hate lesbians, hate transgender. So why do we have to hate these people just because they're different?
And now you and Ken Ham would differ a little bit on that one, because he's always going up and down about God's word and quoting passages that have nothing to do with the subject.
I am not God. I do not have the right to say that God says this.
And
I have the right to say this is what man's interpretation of God is. This is what man's interpretation of God's word is. Can I follow it? The only thing I follow anymore about the Christian and Baptist faith is the Ten Commandments, and that Jesus died for me, and as long as whatever sin I commit, I ask forgiveness for before I die, and I never stop believing that Jesus died for me, I'm good.
Okay, then this is a very good thing. It's
now, of course, that doesn't mean that if I were to ever encounter Ken Ham, well, let's just say if I were to ever encounter him and he started spouting off about how I'm not a true Christian, I would just simply look him in the eye and say, dude, shut up.
Judge not lest ye be judged. We do not have the right to judge someone's religious beliefs or their personal beliefs according to the Bible. And all these people who are sitting there judging you for what you believe in and what you love and who you love are committing one of the sins of the Bible. Huh.
Man,
Of course,
I
my grandma actually has, or I should say my grandma's wife has a son or so, I think.
Your grandma's wife.
No, I mean my grandma's husband. Shit.
well, hey, you never know, right?
Well, my mom's husband, Ray, his son, Randy, is gay.
okay.
And I told him what I told you. More power to you.
Danke, Sharon. It's
Randy, his significant other, his husband, Sloan, absolutely adore my son. Absolutely adore him. Think he's the greatest gift on earth. So,
I only wish that the entire community of people who call themselves Christian would be like you two. I think we'd do a lot better.
It's just we're few and far between because most people have not been taught that. I mean, they've been taught that God's word written in the Bible is the absolute truth, and they don't stop and think that we don't hear God.
Well, yeah,
We don't hear God, and God, these words were written, oh God, several thousand years ago.
They've been translated
And
over
they've
and
been
over
translated,
again.
and they've been reinterpreted, and they've been rewritten to suit today's climate, today's religious climate. And I'm sorry, look at all the Catholic priests who attack children
yeah.
And let's not say any
And
more on that.
are still in the church.
Yeah, let's
Yeah, this really.
practicing as priests and cardinals and whatever.
Ugh.
Okay, explain this to me. For if God says this is wrong, why are these people still priests?
Yeah,
Now, of course,
And that
there's
really-
also the
that really ticks me off because well, I'm an ex-Catholic, so
My
that
mom's an ex-Catholic.
okay.
Quite frankly, I can see the reason why.
I like to. I actually was an altar boy, and I like to say that I was an altar boy back then, and I never was molested, and kind of feel left out. But
That's not a funny thing to joke.
oh, that I'll have to save that for the improv or
Just
something like that.
His little foibles. We don't talk about molestation.
Okay,
Please, let's just not go into detail.
gotcha.
He had an issue with a slightly older boy trying that on him.
Okay.
Well, I have to explain the situation. We ended up pressing charges against him, and the officer who was helping us through this asked us if we would drop the charges from felonies because this kid was only 11. Okay. And TC, you were what, 7?
6.
6. So this was a very. He had to have learned it from somebody, which means somebody was doing it to him. So they asked us if we would drop the felony charges to misdemeanors and put him on permanent probation until he was an adult in order to get them to tell who was doing it to him.
Okay, so that might well be a fairly decent exchange.
And we did, and they found out who it was. The guy went to prison. But the boy kept breaking his probation because his parents wouldn't keep him on the straight and narrow. So the boy ended up being taken away from his parents because he got 3 strikes on his probation because he kept coming by my house.
Okay, then.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where where do you balance that out? You have to balance it between the good of the kid, but the good of your own child too. So it's kind of a seesaw.
Hey,
Now, of course-
Mom Nato. Angie happened to mention over on the side. Do you mind coming a little closer to the mic so everybody can hear you a little bit better?
Well, I can hold it because Talon's loud enough as it is.
Now, of course, there's the whole issue. There's the other.
How's that, everybody?
Yeah, there's the science perspective of also living in the Bible Belt. Not just the religious aspect, but
Oh,
Missouri's
God.
Missouri's part of the Bible Belt, as you know, and
Yep.
well, it's also part of Tornado Alley. So there was a bit of an incentive to learn a little from both sides of the religion/science debate, because, as you all know, Tornado Alley gets some pretty crazy weather. And
Oh, yes,
for
indeed.
those of you who may not know, I actually came from the United States I actually came to the United States from Okinawa, even though I was born on a U.S. military base, which means my dad was in the Air Force. My mom lived on Lester Naval Base in Okinawa.
Kadena Air Base.
It doesn't matter.
You were born at Lester Naval Base. Big difference.
Okay, fine. I was born
Okay.
at Lester. Mom lived in Kadena Naval Base until I got born. And either way,
Super typhoons are so much fun. Not.
yeah, my
Okay.
dad was a weather forecaster for the Air Force,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is how I got the weather gene.
Now, for those of you who do not know, the only difference between a typhoon and a hurricane is
Where it's located.
Where it's located.
Right,
It's the difference in
right.
the ocean. So a super typhoon is a Category 5 or higher hurricane.
I take it you've had to hunker down through a couple of those?
The last one was the year we were leaving. It sat over the island of Okinawa. It was Super Typhoon Bart, named after Bart Simpson, because everybody went, "No, Bart!"
Okay.
And it sat over Kadena for almost 4 days.
Oh, no. How much was
It-
left?
Well, the houses there are designed, they're like Florida's houses where they're cinder block.
Solid rock.
Yeah, they're cinder block foundations, so it's cinder and concrete on the outside, so it's really sturdy. But the winds there, you've seen C-141s, right?
Yeah.
The big old cargo planes.
Mm-hmm.
They tie those down with huge cables during a hurricane, and it literally flipped the entire flight line
On its back.
on its back. It flipped C-141s. We had a bonsai tree on the base that
This thing
was
was
150 years old, 200 years old, something around there.
This thing was
It
rooted
was-
into the ground. Like,
Yeah.
It was almost like it was ram bolted in there.
It was one of these trees where 6 people couldn't go around it. Holding hands.
Oh, okay.
And it ripped it out of the ground
Oh, no.
and
Oh,
left
no.
a 70-foot hole, I think they said it was, all the way across.
It
And
was a
about
crater.
30 feet deep from where its roots were ripped out. They said it was over $1 billion worth of damage.
Holy heck.
Yeah. Because each one of those planes is
A
several
deep-
$1 million worth of
Tech.
plane.
And did it flip any F-22s?
We didn't have F-22s there at Kadena, sweetie. It was a cargo base.
Right, but still, I've grown up
So-
around weather.
Yeah, it was it was a nightmare.
We had water apparently being pushed through.
Yeah, the winds were so bad. We had sliding glass doors that seal. They literally were. You could lock them and you'd hear the seal engage.
Okay.
And it was forcing water under the doors. We had no power.
And don't even get me
And-
started on the cockroaches.
Oh my god, yes, kamikaze cockroaches are so much fun.
Not.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
You've seen Madagascar hissing cockroaches, right?
Oh
The
yes.
ones that are like 8 or 9 inches long.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll
Now,
hang
here's
over
the
the.
thing.
They'll hang over
Have
your
you ever
hand.
heard of Kent Hovind's claim that roaches can be resistant to pesticide, but can they ever grow resistant to, say, a sledgehammer? No, I don't think so. These things would make a sledgehammer weep with envy.
Yeah.
They are resistant to a soldier in combat boots,
Stomping
full
on them.
combat gear, stomping on one with the heel.
What? They have
Yeah,
stainless
okay.
steel shells.
Yeah. These things, they tell you when you go through orientation, if you see them, if they're in your house and you want to get rid of them, scoop them up in a cup and put them out the door. Do not spray them with pesticide.
Because you'll just piss them off.
You'll piss them off. And the problem is if you see one of them, there are like 10 or 15 more somewhere around your house. And when you spray them with pesticide, they fly.
They swarm.
They swarm and they dive bomb you. And
Oh,
I have
no.
seen
Oh,
them do
no.
it.
And they bite.
And they bite.
Okay, so I'm not inviting any of them to dinner anytime soon, right?
Yeah, and we in orientation, they do a presentation. They bring in a cockroach. And they show you this cockroach. And this thing is 5 to 6 inches long. And they will put it on the floor and it will scurry and they will stomp on it in full combat gear. And you'll hear the crunch and you think, okay, it's dead. He lifts up his boot and the thing starts crawling again. It is the creepiest thing. Walking sticks. You think little tiny walking sticks, right?
Nope.
You ever seen a walking stick?
Yeah,
They're generally what? 5, 6 inches long?
maybe.
Okay. The walking sticks in Okinawa. I'm 5'3", so I've got a 3-foot arm span when I stretch my arms out. Those things are 1.5 feet long. Not including the antennae.
Oh my.
But we had a hurricane right before we got there. And they put us in temporary housing until we could get off-base housing. And we came into the house, apartment, whatever you want to call it, and there was this, we thought it was a branch, small, long grass stem, essentially, on our door. We went to move it, and it crawled.
Oops.
And it was a walking stick. It was as long as one of my arms. And I'm not scared of that. The praying mantises, oh my God. They are the size of your hand. They're not, I'm talking just, they go from the bottom of your palm up to the tip of your fingers.
And my understanding is that they are not shy.
No. The praying mantises, you can pick them up. And they'll just sit on your hand. But they have to be large enough to catch and kill the cockroaches. So they have adapted to their environment.
No, don't say that anywhere near Ken Ham. Don't do that.
What?
Don't say the adapting to the environment anywhere on Ken Ham. Don't do that. No.
Well, you're not Ken Ham, so I'll say it. And they have grown to match their prey. I'll put it that way. And considering their prey is insects, and all of the insects in Okinawa are 3 times the size of what you would normally see.
Of course. You're going to get a prey insect. That's going to be...
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a prey insect that can probably just laugh at a fucking sledgehammer. It's like you showed one of those kamikaze cockroaches to Kent Hovind and say, here's your sledgehammer-resistant cockroach. Now shut up about it.
I saw a day or two ago, I don't know if you've seen this one or not, a praying mantis actually eat a I might have been a chameleon. It might have been some other type of lizard that was
They do
trying.
that.
The lizard was trying to eat it, but got the tables
Right.
turned on it.
Yes, that would be an Okinawa praying mantis. Oh my goodness, you'd go outside and hear this sound, right?
Okay,
That's the geckos,
alrighty
which are,
then.
and they're 1.5 feet long. And the thing is that's another reason why you don't want to spray pesticides in your house, because the geckos get in your house, and the geckos will eat spiders, ants,
Kamikaze
cockroaches, smaller lizards. You want them in your house because they keep the nasty things away. And
Okinawa is a carnival of horrors, and
Yeah.
quite frankly, I'm embarrassed to even be from there.
but I mean, I'd love to listen to the geckos at night, because you'd hear them, and then you'd see one scurry across your wall and go chomp on a bug.
Oh
Anyway,
man.
back to the whole issue of weather. Because, well, in Tornado Alley, I also had to learn what the weather was doing, where it was going, what it would do next, and where it would go. Basically, the 4 questions I would ask myself whenever there was a storm is, what is the storm? Where is the storm? What is it doing? And where is it going? Because those are 4 very important questions to ask in Tornado Alley. Because, as you all know, the first name of the alley should spell it out.
Oh God, I can't tell you the number of times he'd come running in. Mom, there's rotation. We've got to find shelter. Mom, we got to get to the barn.
Oh my.
And we actually only ever had one tornado get close to where we lived, and it missed our house by about 800 yards.
Okay, so half a mile or so.
Yeah. It tore down stop signs. And it was a small tornado. It wasn't a big one, but it definitely damaged the fields around
I
where
could
we lived.
see the rotating wall cloud. It's like, oh, shit.
And of course, this year has not been friendly for tornadoes by where we used to live.
Yeah.
We lived like 20 minutes from Jefferson City, Missouri. And this year, a tornado tore through the center of town, the west end of town, and just traveled through the center of town. And the building where I rented my U-Haul to drive down to Florida, no longer exists. The gas station was totally destroyed that was right next to it. I mean, just devastation throughout that whole end of town.
Another of our panelists was describing some of the stuff that was going on because she's in Missouri.
Uh-huh.
As a matter of fact, I think pretty close to that area where the Jefferson City tornado. Well, I'm speaking of Karis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she mentioned how much fun that was not. How scary it was.
We actually have friends who live in New Bloomfield, which is 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away. It sits between it sits between Fulton and Jeff City. Right along on Highway 54.
Smack dab in the middle of the state, smack dab in the middle of the country.
And we actually called them on Skype to make sure that they were okay, because the tornado was heading in their direction. And it just stopped right outside of Holt Summit. Skipped over Holt Summit, skipped over New Bloomfield, and then I don't know if it hit Fulton or not, but it went out towards the power plant, from what I understand. Which is east of Fulton, I think.
Think so.
So, yeah.
Now, the issue here regarding where we live now is, well...
Hurricanes!
Yeah.
This is old hat for me.
Oh,
4 years of typhoons.
Now there's
And we haven't had a single one, thank God. knock on wood, the entire year we've been here.
Are you
Michael missed us.
when you say the knock on wood, are you tapping on Tornado's head?
No,
No. Okay.
no, I tapped on his desk.
I love you, Tornado. Really, I do.
So yeah, that's how you, but yeah, living in Tornado Alley is how you get a science-loving Christian.
Now, that's the interesting thing, though. With talking about the weather, how are things appearing to you as far as the models are concerned? The forecasting models. The models aren't worth tuppence here. You'll say it's going to rain today and it'll be beautiful, beautiful, bright, and everything. And you're saying, okay, it's going to be beautiful, bright, and everything, and it rains all freaking day. I am getting the impression that the models are being thrown off by the climate change. Are you seeing that, or
Probably some of it, but the issue also comes in that some of those people are not trained very well. And if your weather forecaster is not trained properly, they're going to give you the wrong forecast. My ex-husband, Tornado's dad,
okay?
living in Okinawa, had a 95% accuracy rating going out 5 days.
Okay, not bad.
He could predict 5 days worth of weather, know exactly where it's going, and be 95% of right.
Now, my friend, I guess the weather gene also got carried into me because, well, I've predicted rain about an hour before it happens, literally by saying, okay, judging by the speed of the storm and the way it's moving, I'd say it's going to hit 45 minutes from now. One of the people was actually prepared to call my bluff, and then 45 minutes later,
it started raining.
And then I did the same thing again by saying, okay, I'd say, judging by the time of that lightning, that storm is probably about an hour out.
Man, I wish the people at the National Weather Service would have that gene. I was to the Nationals were in town a few days ago. I actually went to that game. Washington Nationals are my favorite baseball team, and it was going to be bright and sunny and everything all freaking day and a whole bit like this. Say again?
It poured down rain, didn't it?
Oh,
did it rain?
On the way home, the game was fine. On the way home, wham! Thunderstorm. Which lasted maybe about
me
5.
Of what happened in Florida a couple years ago.
Oh God! Don't even remind me of that.
Yeah, so we got thoroughly drenched while we were waiting for the bus.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Which is not fun. You know, you're waiting for the bus, getting thoroughly drenched, close to midnight.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Now
I know what Pittsburgh's like.
Okay.
I mean, it's a toss-up between, well, it's summer, and you got wet, so you're probably cooler than you were, but it's midnight, so it's kind of cool anyway.
Yeah. And in Florida, the first time we came down here, when we were actually checking out my grandma, just to say hi, I think.
Well, it was right after Irma.
Yeah, we checked. No, that was the 17th. That was August. That was September of 2017. We came down here originally in August.
Right after she moved. Right.
Just to check out the house.
Yeah. We got here. It was supposed to be sunny. We had torrential rain in Missouri. We figured, it's Florida. We'll get sun. No. We brought the rain with us. The entire 2 weeks we were here.
1 week.
It was a week and a half, Talon. Close enough to 2 weeks. Don't be nitpicky. Anyway, the entire time we were here, every single day, it poured down rain. Almost the entire day. The day we go to leave, sunshine and bright skies. We get to Missouri. It's raining.
Oh, boy, moi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we come down for Irma to help clean up, and somewhat sunny. A few days of rain. We moved down here. Rain.
We just have no luck with the weather in
Now,
Florida.
do you get the afternoon thunderstorm?
You can set your watch to them pretty much.
Yeah,
Okay,
just about.
because I've had people describe this. Yeah,
About it depends upon the season in Florida. During the fall and winter, it doesn't usually rain too much.
But
But during spring and summer, yeah, you generally during hurricane season, you can pretty much set your clock by the rain.
one of the long-standing jokes down here is you could set your watch to the 2 o'clock thunderstorm.
Yep. Although the last 2 weeks, we up until like 2 days ago, we had solid rain for almost 2 weeks.
get a little soggy, doesn't it?
Oh, we had a bog for a yard. Our yard was halfway flooded. But it's finally cleared out, which means, of course, now that all the rain is stopped during the day, I get to go through with Tornado's help and clean up the yard. Pick up all
Beggars
the
lice everywhere.
Beggars lice. Oh, but the downed tree limbs have to be picked up.
No, wait a minute. Did I hear beggars lice?
Beggars lice. It's a plant.
Okay.
It's, green seeds when they're new, and if they stick to you, they cling like lice would, and they're prolific, and they're kind of half moon shaped,
Okay.
and it's a weed, and it basically it's seed pods in order to move, cling to your clothes, and then you go somewhere else, and then they get brushed off.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the type of seed because there are so many different types of that I've dealt with.
Yeah, it's like they Velcro themselves to your clothes.
Well, that's where the idea for Velcro came from, if I remember
Yep.
correctly, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Which, incidentally, was not invented by anyone at NASA. No,
More
it
like they
existed
picked up
already,
the
and they picked up on it.
Yep.
Oh my!
Now, what's surprising about me probably is that, again, science-loving Christian.
Yeah, it's and this is a very good thing. This is makes me very happy. What was the name of the guy? Was it David Clayton Thomas? You make me so very happy. And I won't get a copyright strike because if you could recognize what I just sang, you're really good.
Now, it's strange how someone like me, even though I'm a Christian, can enjoy science, isn't it? Because most of the time, with nowadays,
I'll be right
generally Christian is associated with a 1-to-1 ratio to young Earth creationist.
Well, there's the thing. This makes me really happy. When I was growing up, when I was okay, I confuse myself when I speak this way. When I was a girl, I mean, they thought I was a boy, but I thought I was a girl. So I'll say when I was a girl, you didn't have as much of this going on as you do now. The young Earth creationism did not seem to be as big a thing back in 1965 as it became in, say, 2015. So,
yes, the year of the space program.
yeah, it's a wonderful thing growing up in that era. Well, okay, when I was born, the only satellite orbiting Earth was the moon. I mean, Eisenhower was president when I was born, okay? And it was amazing to see the call to action and everybody get interested in science and engineering.
Yeah, you were like 6 when Sputnik went up, wasn't you?
A little younger. I am 16 weeks older than Sputnik. Sputnik flew October 4th, 1957. I was born July 20th.
Cool.
And if that date sounds familiar, there's a reason.
I know that date sounds familiar, and there is indeed a reason for it. Yeah, that reason is currently in my closet right now.
Oh my. I'm the lucky one. I got to stand beside the Apollo 11 CM Columbia twice. And you want to see people looking, why is that old broad crying?
I would be standing right there, and it's like, thank you, Neil Armstrong.
Never
Buzz
got a
Aldrin
chance to
and
meet
Michael
him,
Collins.
unfortunately. But
Thank you to Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins.
if you ever have a chance to get to Chicago, by all means, get to Adler Planetarium and the Museum of Science and Industry. At Adler Planetarium, there is on display Aurora 7 and Gemini 12. And at MSI...
Oh, gee, thank you for adding more rocket capsules to my bucket list.
There you go. And at MSI is Apollo 8. Now, the way Apollo 8 is displayed, they could have done a little bit better with it, but when I was in Adler, I got some beautiful interior shots of Gemini 12.
You could go into the interior.
No, it was encased in lucite, but the angle you could see into it, you could get a beautiful view of the interior. It wasn't angled in such a way that you could barely see. So that, everybody's looking at, why is she crying?
I could understand why.
Oh, man. But, yeah, it's...
You get to see Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo.
Yeah,
Let me put it this way. You are lucky.
Yes, I am. I'm extremely lucky. In some ways, sometimes I wish I would have been born a little bit later. Because, well, an 18-year age difference didn't help very much. Well, that was only one of the reasons. Yeah, okay. The entire internet knows about that one. But born when I got to see what I got to see. And it was a beautiful thing.
I would have given, well, quite frankly, my left leg. I would say what I really want to say, but since this is a family show.
What family show?
True, okay. I would give my left leg up to the kneecap just to go to see Apollo 11 launching.
I wished I could have gone to see that. I was not able to get to Florida. Well, let's see. I was still 11 years old at the time of the launch, so no way am I going to get to Florida. But it was kind of nice to be at home because I had the portable tape recorder, and with electrical tape, I taped the little box microphone from that portable tape recorder to the speaker of the television and recorded as much as I could of the CBS coverage. And unfortunately, I lost those tapes in one of my moves. I've lost a lot of stuff in a lot of moves.
I know the feeling.
But, and then the other thing is the unfortunate thing living here. I mean, it's a nice apartment and everything. Got no problems with it or anything like that. But there's really no place to put any models. So, excuse me, I can't build the models I've got sitting in my closet. And even were I able to build them, somebody I know would take them down and have them all over the floor. I'm not.
Your kitties?
I'm not regarding any particular Sylvias when I say that.
Which is
Oh,
why I currently have my most precious Saturn V model locked in my closet.
okay.
It's a Lego model, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that was the Lego model.
Uh-huh. 1,969 pieces.
Cannot, for the life of me, think of where they got that number of pieces from.
The sarcasm is evident.
Oh my, but the one I really wanted, I didn't have the money at the time, and they are simply not available anymore. Revell had the Saturn V in, oh, I think it was 1/44th scale. They also had a separate kit of the launch complex to scale, to where you could put the two of them together and have 39A on your desktop. But okay, this was mid 80s, and the complex cost $75. So in today's dollars, that might be 500.
Shit.
Oh
Ugh.
well,
Who
what are
knows?
you
Maybe I
going
should
to
get
do?
into televangelism and actually use the money I get to actually further science education.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. I have looked over at the side and look who's here. Hi, Kate! Yay!
Hello.
Oh, the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Bionic Dance is with us. Hi, hi, how you doing? Oh my. One thing I'm wondering, do you mind sticking around a little for an after show?
Sure.
Oh, yay. Let me do
My
something.
schedule, to show you the exact nature of my schedule right now, I've got completely nothing on my schedule right now.
Oh my, okay. Because, yeah, let me see what we can do here. I'm going to turn that public, and then I'm going to go backward here. No, I'm not wanting to leave this site. The heck, man.
Just shake a dead chicken over the keyboard, or at least a rubber one.
Yeah, I might have to do that. It's God. I love that saying that I've heard it most in the Unix field of waving a dead chicken over something and all that other happy stuff. Okay, let's.
It's like sometimes that's what you gotta do. Wave a dead chicken over the keyboard and start chanting voodoo.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting accustomed to this. It's going to take a little bit yet.
Or at the very least, whack it with a socket wrench.
Oh, that is absolutely
Russian
beautiful.
components, American components, all made in Taiwan.
Oh my. Okay, we're going to open that link in a new tab, and we are going to open. Why did you do that?
I think I might have just gotten us a copyright strike with that impression.
I don't know necessarily about
This is
that.
how we fix problems on Russian space station.
Oh, I'm looking. What happens over here? Everything is all mixed up. This is where I have to get accustomed to these new things.
And newfangled stuff.
Yeah. Maybe at some point when Google lets me run the Meet and the YouTube together on the same machine at the same time, that might help a little bit.
Now, of course, there's... In the days I've done talking to people related to flat earthers and young earth creationists, There was one time where I talked to this person known as Lemon Bird.
Don't know this person.
Well, Lemon Bird is a secondary source bottom feeder,
Ah,
if you will. He actually cited that he actually said for his source that radiometric dating doesn't work. He cited his source as Kent Hovind, who, by the way, I ended up talking to on Wednesday.
God, that must have been fun.
I had fun running him through the ringer with his "you believe you came from a rock" spiel. I had to explain to him that rocks are not considered to be alive because they do not meet the necessary requirements to be alive. Oh, Mom, if you've ever heard of Kent Hovind, this is the same person who thinks, evolutionists claim they came from a rock.
Nobody ever claimed they came from a rock, you dumb nugget.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the interesting thing, though. We have some of the young Earth creationists going on about we, as they call us, evolutionists, and I hate that word. It makes it sound like it's an ideology, and it's not. But we believe that everything...
I prefer the term evolutionary biologist.
There you go. But they say, we think that everything came from nothing. And which is more difficult to believe? That everything, came from nothing by itself? Or that some old guy with a beard sitting on a cloud generated everything from nothing? It's the same damn thing. Come on, kids.
Because there was nothing there.
Say again.
But the cloud couldn't exist because there was nothing there to begin with.
There you go. There you go.
And what astounds me is how creationists like Kent will say, "Oh, you believe X." No, thank you, Mother. But it's like he seems to miss that. No, we don't believe what you claim we believe, and we don't believe what we accept is true either, because we accept it true based on evidence, not faith.
There you are. Oh, and everybody, we have over on the side, I threw the link to the upcoming after show. And everybody wants... Say again?
Are we over already?
Not quite. Well, the after show is going to keep us going here.
Okay.
Basically, what happens is I like to keep the main show around an hour or so because that helps the rewatchability.
Right.
And then just move over to the after show, which is basically a continuation of the original show, but it's like part 2.
So we're on the after show right now. Are we
Not
still
yet.
on the main?
Not yet. We're getting there. Oh my! Let's see. Where are we? I forget where we are. There we are.
Radiometric dating. Oh man, the claim that radiometric dating doesn't work. It's like unless you're claiming just carbon dating, which I will admit does not work on things that don't have carbon in them. It's like if someone says, "Oh, carbon dating can't be used to date fossils that are older than 5 or 50,000 years." It's like, of course not. A, the ratio of carbon-12 to carbon-14 is undetectable at that point. And B, more than likely, all the carbon got reacted with something else. And C, oi, Hovind, you can't carbon date that, you fuck nugget. There's no carbon in it. Oi, Hovind, you can't date that. There's no fucking carbon in it.
I just dearly love Peter Hadfield. I'd love to meet him someday.
Well, how good was my impression?
It was spot on. Let's face it. The only thing missing was the middle C beep. Actually,
There's
see
no
about.
fucking carbon in it.
Oh. Okay, don't do that. You don't want to do that. My laptop is giving me a hard time here. We don't want that. That is not a good thing.
What?
when I was moving the cursor with my finger on the touchpad, it was starting to move the entire frame, and I didn't exactly want that.
Oh no!
It's difficult enough for me to keep track of where everything is on this damn thing anyway.
Been there, done that.
It's I bought this laptop back in 2017. A refurbished laptop. I think it was about 7 years old when I bought it. All I wanted was to be able to use Facebook, because I went to Illinois to view the total solar eclipse, and I wanted to keep in contact with everybody while I was out there. So it's
You saw the total solar eclipse in Illinois?
yeah. I went to Carbondale.
Oh, I went to Rosebud with Dad.
Yeah. I stayed at home.
Oh,
I got videos of it. We were in New Bloomfield, right in the center of the eclipse. Holt Summit, okay. The eclipse went right over our house, total, from start to finish.
all right.
And I've got videos of it where I videotaped it going dark and kept it going on my tablet until the sun started coming back out.
Wasn't that absolutely beautiful though?
Oh yeah, the neat thing is you got to keep in mind in Missouri that it was when?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we had insects that only come out at twilight, chirping and
Right.
chiming in, and frogs and everything, going for like 3 minutes, and then they just all shut up because the sun came back out.
But seriously, seeing that black orb in the sky surrounded by the corona, I even got to see prominences.
Yeah, wasn't that great?
Some guy actually lent me their binoculars, and I was just staring at this beautiful image that I had only seen before in videos and books. And I tell you, there's not even the books do it justice. A book just has a single snapshot of what is pretty much an event you cannot miss. I had it lucky enough that I was already in the center line when I was living in New Bloomfield, but then my dad took me out to Rosebud to see the actual eclipse without having to worry about cloud dodging because there was no clouds there in Rosebud. So we had thunderstorms on one side of the eclipse, and it was coming in like northeast of us, or northwest of us, sort of on a slant, like say from the top left corner of your screen to the bottom right, just in that slant, going right through the middle of Missouri. You could not have planned that any better. Quite literally, the eclipse slashed Missouri in half.
Yep.
Would be the best way. It slashed Missouri in half from like Sedalia all the way down to Osage.
Okay.
Yep, would be the best way to describe it. And I was in Rosebud, like towards somewhere nearish Cape Girardeau, I think, or we were getting closer to there. And I got to see this eclipse just pass right over. Just having thunderstorms on one side, clear skies to the other. And I could literally, I was taking a little break from watching the sun to take off my shield. I had literally built a solar eclipse helmet just for the occasion. Basically,
Kind of looked like Iron Man helmet.
yeah, the thing about my glasses is they go over my... I'm wearing glasses, so of course the solar eclipse glasses don't fit snugly. So if I were to, say, look at an odd angle, I could potentially catch sun in my eyes. So what's an enterprising young changeling to do about that? Simple. They build their own eclipse helmet. So I literally built this helmet with full frontal shielding except for the mouth that could just go right over my head, and it even had a little nose piece where the nose goes, so that way that didn't get hit by the sun.
It's hysterical.
Okay,
but, hey,
then.
it works. So I was looking up at this, and occasionally I was taking off my solar helmet so I could watch the shadow coming in. And I'll tell you, it's fucking creepy. Just looking at part of the ground, it's like, what the hell is going on? And interesting thing about that is I used to have transitions lenses, which means that when I was in bright light, the sort of transition lenses acted sort of like a solar eclipse, but not really because they were basically sunglasses on top of normal glasses that reacted with the UV or any bright light in the area.
Okay,
So,
then.
at a certain point, I was taking off my transitions lenses because I thought my transitions lenses were going off again. And when I took them off, the ground was the exact same shade of gray that they would normally be, or the ground was the exact same dark shade as my transitions lenses would make the ground to look, except the shadows were all funky. So it was creepy. It felt like there was something over my eyes when I was looking at the ground. And my shadows were all off. In one way, they were still the same fuzzy shadows that they were, and in another way, they were crisp and clear. And it was just odd.
Oh
And
my.
And then there was the whole dark shade on one half of the sky, which is just a sort of weird feeling in and of itself. I didn't get to see the shadow bands because I wasn't focused on the shadow bands. I was focused on quite literally everything else. It's just seeing this ominous shadow looking.
They get it. They get it.
Okay, then.
I could ramble on and on and on about the solar eclipse.
Well, you're going to get your chance because we're going to take this over to the after show if nobody minds. Everybody over in the side chat, come on, head over to the after show. We have the link, and I'm going to try putting it in again and see if it works. We're going to try paste. Yes, there it goes. And I'm going to thank everybody for coming by here at the main show. Stick around, you too. We got more to come. And everybody else, go on over there. And I want to thank everybody who's here and everybody who's not here. And I want to say also, thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.